The great ship floated in the darkness of space. It was bigger than any moon. Inside sat the leaders of 12 different alien races. They had come together for one reason. They had found a new world with life on it. Commander Velos of the Galactic Council looked at the blue planet on the screen. His gray skin reflected the light from the display. He had seen many worlds before. He had watched many first contacts. But something about this world made him nervous. "The planet is called Earth by its people," said the science officer. "They call themselves humans. What do we know about them?" asked Velos. "They are young. Very young. They discovered fire only a short time ago in galactic terms. They built cities. They fought wars. They created machines. All of this in just a few thousand years." The council members looked at each other. A few thousand years was nothing. Most races took millions of years to reach this stage. "That is fast," said one of the tall green beings from the Noma system. "Too fast." On Earth, a young woman named Sujin was working in her small office. She was part of the government's space research team in Seoul. The night was quiet. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago. She stared at the strange signals on her computer screen. "This cannot be right," she whispered. The patterns were too perfect. They were not natural. Someone or something was sending messages from space. Sujin picked up her phone and called her supervisor. His name was Taeyun, and he was a calm man who never got excited. But when he saw the data, his hands started to shake. "Call everyone," he said. "Wake up the director. Wake up the president if you have to. This is real." Within hours, the news spread across the world. Every government knew. Every space agency confirmed it. There were aliens in orbit around Earth. The world went into chaos. Some people celebrated. Some people panicked. Markets crashed. Churches filled with people. The streets became rivers of confused humanity. But the aliens just waited. Commander Velos watched the planet below. He saw the lights of cities flicker. He saw the small aircraft flying in panic. He saw the tiny satellites spinning around the world. "They are afraid," he said. "All young races are afraid at first contact," replied his advisor, a small blue creature named Pela. "We should send the greeting message. The standard welcome to the galactic community." "Yes," said Velos. "Begin the transmission." The message was simple. It had been used for thousands of years. It said that the galaxy welcomed Earth. It explained that there were many other races among the stars. It promised peace and trade and knowledge. The humans received the message. Governments worked together for the first time in history. They prepared a response. Sujin was chosen to be part of the team that would meet the aliens. She did not know why. Perhaps because she had found the first signal. Perhaps because she spoke many languages. She did not feel ready. "You will be fine," said Taeyun. He put a hand on her shoulder. "Just be honest. That is all we can do." The meeting place was chosen. A small island in the Pacific Ocean. The aliens would land there. Human leaders from every nation would be present. Sujin stood on the beach and watched the sky. The sun was setting. The clouds were orange and red. It was beautiful, but she could not enjoy it. Her heart was beating too fast. Then she saw it. A light in the sky growing bigger. The alien ship was coming down. It landed without sound. The sand did not even move. The technology was beyond anything humans could imagine. A door opened in the side of the ship. Light poured out. Sujin held her breath. Commander Velos stepped out first. He was tall and thin with gray skin and large black eyes. Behind him came others. Creatures of many shapes and colors. Some walked on two legs. Some floated. Some crawled. The humans stared. The aliens stared back. "We are the Galactic Council," said Velos. His voice was strange but clear. "We come in peace." The human leaders stepped forward. They bowed. They offered gifts. They smiled nervous smiles. But Velos was not looking at the leaders. He was looking at everything else. The humans had built a small city of tents in just 2 days. They had machines everywhere. They had cameras and lights and computers. "How long did you have to prepare for our arrival?" he asked. "About 48 hours, said a tall man from the American government. Velos felt a chill run through his body. 48 hours. His people would need months to do the same. Pela leaned close to the commander. "Something is wrong with these creatures," she whispered. "They move too fast. They build too fast. They adapt too fast." Velos nodded slowly. He had felt it too. These humans were not like other young races. There was something different about them. Something that made him very, very uncomfortable. The first contact had just begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The meetings continued for 7 days. The aliens shared information about the galaxy. They talked about trade routes and laws and history. The humans listened carefully and took many notes. Sujin was present at every meeting. She translated when needed and helped organize the discussions. She watched the aliens closely. She noticed how they looked at humans with curious eyes. On the 3rd day, Commander Velos asked a simple question. "How old is your civilization?" The human leaders looked at each other. A Korean scientist named Woojin stepped forward. He was old and wise with gray hair and kind eyes. "We have written records going back about 5,000 years, he said. "Before that, we lived in tribes and small groups. Our species is perhaps 300,000 years old." The aliens went silent. Every single one of them stopped moving. 300,000 years, repeated Velos slowly. "And in that time, you went from caves to spacecraft?" "Yes," said Woojin. "We worked hard." Pela checked her datapad with shaking hands. "Commander," she whispered urgently, "the average time for this level of development is 50 million years. These creatures did it in a fraction of that time." Velos could not believe it. He looked at the humans again. They seemed so ordinary. They were made of soft flesh and weak bones. They needed to breathe air and drink water. They died after just 100 years. How could such fragile beings advance so quickly? That night, Sujin sat alone on the beach. The stars were bright above her. She thought about everything she had learned. The galaxy was full of life. Thousands of races existed out there. And now Earth was part of that community. A shadow fell over her. She looked up and saw Pela floating nearby. The small blue alien had a round body and many tentacles. Her eyes glowed softly in the dark. "May I sit with you?" Pela asked. "Of course," said Sujin. Pela lowered herself onto the sand. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The waves crashed gently against the shore. "Your world is beautiful," said Pela finally, "but also dangerous. I read about your animals. You have creatures that can kill with one bite. You have storms that destroy cities. Your ground shakes and mountains explode with fire." Sujin smiled. "Yes, Earth is not an easy place to live." "Is that why you became strong?" Pela asked. "Because your world tried to kill you?" Sujin had never thought about it that way. But perhaps the alien was right. Humans had survived ice ages and plagues and disasters. They had faced extinction many times. And each time, they had fought back. "Maybe," she said. "We never learned how to give up." The next day, the aliens asked to see human technology. The humans agreed and took them to different places around the world. They showed them the factories where machines were built. The aliens watched in amazement as robots assembled cars in seconds. They showed them the hospitals where doctors healed the sick. The aliens could not understand how humans had learned so much about medicine in such a short time. They showed them the farms where food was grown. The aliens were shocked to see how much food humans produced. It was enough to feed billions of people. "This is impossible," said one of the green Noma leaders. "Your species is too young to know these things." "We learn from each other," explained a doctor named Minji. She was young and spoke with confidence. "When one human discovers something, all humans can learn it. We share knowledge freely." "But knowledge takes time," said the Noma. "You need generations to test and confirm." "We do not have generations," said Minji. "Human life is short, so we work fast." The aliens did not understand. Their lives were long. Some of them lived for thousands of years. They had no reason to rush. But humans were different. Humans were always running out of time. Commander Velos began to feel something he had never felt before. It took him a while to recognize it. It was fear. These humans were like fire. They burned bright and hot. They consumed everything around them. And they were spreading. Already humans were talking about visiting other planets. They wanted to build ships that could fly between stars. They wanted to explore the galaxy. "We must report this to the High Council," Velos told Pela in private. "The other races need to know what we have found here." "What do you want to tell them?" Pela asked. Velos looked out the window at the blue planet below. Billions of humans lived down there. Billions of minds working together. Billions of dreams pushing toward the stars. "Tell them we have found something new," he said. "Something the galaxy has never seen before. A race that does not know its own limits. A race that runs toward danger instead of away from it. A race that might change everything." He paused and closed his large black eyes. "Tell them we have found the humans. And we do not know if that is a good thing or a bad thing." Back on the island, Sujin felt the wind on her face. She looked up at the great alien ship in the sky. Soon, humans would build ships like that. She was sure of it. The first contact was ending. But the story of humanity among the stars was just beginning. And nothing would ever be the same again. 5 years passed since first contact. The galaxy watched Earth with careful eyes. What they saw amazed and terrified them in equal measure. The humans had taken the technology shared by the Galactic Council and done something unexpected. They made it better. In just 5 years, they improved engine designs that had remained unchanged for 1,000,000 years. They found new ways to generate power. They created communication systems faster than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Sujin was now the director of the Human Space Agency. She stood in front of a massive window in her office in Seoul. Through the glass, she could see the launch site where humanity's first starship waited. "Are you nervous?" asked Woojin. The old scientist sat in a chair nearby. His hair was whiter now, but his eyes were still sharp. "Very nervous," Sujin admitted. "We are about to send humans to another star system. The closest aliens took 10,000 years to develop this technology. We did it in 5. Does that worry you?" Sujin turned to face him. "It worries everyone else. The aliens look at us like we are dangerous animals. They smile and trade with us, but I can see the fear in their eyes." On the other side of the galaxy, Commander Velos stood before the High Council. The chamber was enormous, filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. They had gathered to discuss the human situation. "In 5 years, they have matched our technology," Velos reported. "Some of our scientists believe they will surpass us within a decade." The council erupted in worried voices. Some called for action. Some called for patience. Some called for war. An ancient being named Threx rose from his seat. He was the oldest member of the council. His body was like living stone, gray and cracked with age. He had seen empires rise and fall. "I have studied these humans," said Threx in a voice like grinding rocks. "I have watched their history. They are indeed fast and clever, but they are also destructive. They fight among themselves constantly. They nearly destroyed their own planet before we found them." "Then they are a threat," said one representative. "Perhaps," said Threx, "but perhaps they are also an opportunity. Every great advancement in galactic history came from outside thinking. These humans think differently than any race we have encountered. Their chaos might bring new order. Their destruction might bring new creation." Velos listened carefully. He had spent more time with humans than anyone else in the council. He knew things that others did not. "There is something else," Velos added quietly. "Something I did not include in my official report." The chamber went silent. "The humans have a concept they call hope," Velos continued. "It is not optimism or planning. It is something deeper. They believe that tomorrow can be better than today, no matter how dark things become. They fight against impossible odds because they truly believe they can win." "Many races have optimism," said another council member. "This is different," said Velos. "I have seen their history. They have faced extinction many times. Disease, war, climate destruction. Each time, when any sensible race would have accepted their fate, they refused. They kept fighting. They kept building. They kept hoping." He paused and looked around the chamber. "That is why they advance so quickly. They do not accept limits. They do not believe in impossible. When we tell them something cannot be done, they simply try harder." Back on Earth, a young engineer named Junho was making final checks on the starship. He was part of the first crew that would travel to another star. His hands were steady, but his heart raced with excitement. His partner, a woman named Yuna, worked beside him. They had trained for 3 years for this mission. "Do you think the aliens want us to succeed?" Yuna asked. Junho laughed softly. "I think they are scared of us. But I do not blame them. We scare ourselves sometimes." "Maybe that is good," said Yuna. "Maybe the galaxy needs something new. Something that shakes things up." The launch happened the next morning. Millions of people watched from around the world. Billions more watched on screens. The starship rose from Earth like a second sun, bright and beautiful. Sujin watched with tears in her eyes. 5 years ago, she had been a young researcher who found a strange signal. Now she was watching humans leave their solar system for the first time. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Commander Velos. "Congratulations," the message said. "You have achieved something remarkable. But I hope you understand what this means. The galaxy is watching. Some will welcome you. Some will fear you. Some will try to stop you. Please be careful." Sujin typed a reply. "We understand. We will try to be good neighbors. But we will not stop exploring. We cannot. It is who we are." She sent the message and looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, human beings were flying toward new worlds, new adventures, new challenges. The galaxy had spent millions of years in peace and stability. Everything was orderly. Everything was predictable. And then humans arrived. Now nothing was predictable anymore. And perhaps Sujin thought that was exactly what the universe needed. 10 years had passed since first contact. Humanity now had colonies on 3 different star systems. Human ships flew across the galaxy carrying goods, ideas, and dreams. But not everyone was happy about this. In a dark region of space, a fleet of warships gathered. They belonged to an empire called the Void Rulers. They had controlled this part of the galaxy for 2 million years. And they did not like competition. Their leader was called Lord Kavis. He was a massive creature covered in black scales. His eyes burned with cold fire. He had conquered 100 worlds and destroyed a dozen races. He feared nothing. Or so he thought. "Show me the human data again," he commanded. His scientists brought up images on a large screen. They showed human history, wars, inventions, art, music, death, creation. "They've been in space for only 10 years, said the lead scientist. "Yet they have already developed weapons that match our own. Their ships are nearly as fast as ours. Their soldiers are brave beyond reason." "I have conquered brave soldiers before," said Kavis. "These are different, my lord. They do not surrender, ever. We have captured some of them. They fight until death. And when they cannot fight anymore, they find ways to cause damage with their final breath. They call it sacrifice." Kavis watched the images of humans. He saw them laughing, crying, loving, fighting. They were weak creatures made of soft meat. And yet something about them made even him feel uncertain. "We will attack their newest colony," Kavis decided. "Show them that the Void Rulers cannot be challenged." The attack came without warning. A human colony named New Hope was struck by 50 warships. The colonists had only a handful of defense ships. They were badly outmatched. Yuna was on New Hope. She had retired from space exploration and moved to the colony with Junho. They had built a small house near a lake. They wanted a peaceful life. But peace ended when the sky filled with enemy ships. The colony had only 3,000 people. They had no army. They had no experience with war. But they had something else. They had each other. Junho organized the defense. He was not a soldier, but he had read human history. He knew how their ancestors had fought against impossible odds. "We cannot win a straight fight," he told the colonists. "But we can survive long enough for help to arrive. We hide. We strike. We disappear. We never give up." The colonists agreed. They armed themselves with whatever they could find. Farmers became fighters. Teachers became tacticians. Children became messengers. The Void Rulers landed with 10,000 soldiers. They expected easy victory. They found something else entirely. Every street became a trap. Every building became a fortress. The humans used their knowledge of the terrain. They struck from shadows and vanished into tunnels. They fought with a fury that the Void soldiers had never seen. Lord Kavis watched from his flagship in orbit. His face showed confusion for the first time in centuries. "How many colonists are there?" he demanded. 3,000, my lord." "Then, why have we lost 2,000 soldiers already?" His officers had no answer. On the ground, Yuna led a small group of fighters through the forest. They had just ambushed an enemy patrol. Her hands were covered in dirt and her clothes were torn. But her eyes burned with determination. "Help is coming," she told her group. "Earth received our distress signal. They are sending ships. We just need to hold on." "For how long?" asked a young man. "As long as it takes." Back on Earth, Sujin received the news of the attack. She was older now, with gray streaks in her hair. But her spirit was unchanged. "How fast can we get there?" she asked her commanders. "Our fastest ships can arrive in 3 days. Then send everything. Every ship. Every soldier. No one attacks our people and walks away." The human fleet launched within hours. 100 ships raced toward New Hope. It was the largest military operation in human history. Commander Velos heard about the attack too. He contacted the Galactic Council immediately. "The Void Rulers have made a terrible mistake," he warned them. "I have studied humans for 15 years. They are dangerous when they are calm. When they are angry, they are unstoppable. What should we do?" asked Thrax. "Stay out of their way," said Velos. "And pray that they remember who their friends are when this is over." On New Hope, The battle continued. The colonists were tired and wounded. They had lost many friends, but they refused to break. Junho found Yuna near the lake where they had built their home. The house was destroyed now. Nothing remained but ashes. "I am sorry," he said softly. Yuna looked at the ruins and then at the sky. "We will build again. We always do. That is what makes us human." Above them, the stars began to move. Points of light were getting closer. The human fleet had arrived early. Lord Kavas saw them coming. For the first time in 2,000,000 years, the master of the Void Rulers felt something cold in his chest. He finally understood what it was. Fear. The humans were coming. And they were angry. The battle above New Hope lasted only 6 hours. The human fleet tore through the Void Ruler ships like fire through paper. Every tactic the humans used was new. Every weapon was unexpected. Lord Kavas had never faced anything like it. His flagship was the last to fall. As his ship burned around him, Kavas sent one final message to his empire. "Do not fight the humans. Make peace. They are not like others. They cannot be conquered." Then his ship exploded, and the Void Rulers lost their leader forever. On the ground, the colonists of New Hope watched the enemy ships fall from the sky like dying stars. They cheered and cried and held each other. They had survived. Yuna stood with Junho in the ruins of their colony. Behind them, rescue ships were landing. Doctors and soldiers were pouring out to help the wounded. "We made it," Junho said quietly. "We did," Yuna replied. "But we lost so much. We will build it back. Better than before." A young soldier approached them. She saluted and smiled. "You too are heroes. The whole galaxy is talking about what you did here." Yuna shook her head. "We are not heroes. We are just humans. This is what we do." The news of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light. Every race heard the story. A tiny colony of 3,000 people had held off an empire for 3 days. Then the human fleet had destroyed the strongest military force in that region of space. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. The chamber was filled with worried voices. Some races were afraid. Some were impressed. All of them were trying to understand what had happened. Commander Velos stood before them once again. His gray skin looked older now. He had spent 15 years studying humans, and he finally felt ready to explain them. "I told you once that humans do not know their limits," he began. "I was wrong. They know their limits. They simply refuse to accept them." The chamber went quiet. "When we first found Earth, we expected to find another young race. Weak, primitive, easy to guide and control. Instead, we found something the galaxy has never seen before." He pulled up images of human history on the great screen. Wars and peace. Destruction and creation. Tragedy and triumph. Humans evolved on a death world. Their planet tried to kill them every day. Ice ages, volcanoes, plagues, predators, other humans. They should have died 1,000 times. But they did not. The images showed humans building cities in deserts and jungles and frozen wastelands. They showed humans sailing across deadly oceans and climbing impossible mountains. They survived because they refused to give up. They adapted. They innovated. They worked together. And most importantly, they never stopped believing that tomorrow could be better than today. Thrax, the ancient stone being, spoke up. "What does this mean for the galaxy?" Velos turned to face him. "It means everything has changed. For millions of years, we have been stable, safe, predictable, but stability can become stagnation. Safety can become fear. We stopped taking risks because we stopped believing they were worth taking." He pointed at the screen, which now showed human colonies spreading across the stars. The humans remind us what we have forgotten. The universe is meant to be explored, challenged, changed. They are chaotic and dangerous and sometimes foolish. But they are also creative and brave and full of hope. On Earth, Sujin sat in her office for the last time. She was retiring after 30 years of service. Through her window, she could see the city of Seoul shining in the night. Beyond the city, she could see the lights of spaceports where ships departed for other worlds every hour. Woojin came to visit her. He was very old now, moving slowly with a cane. But his smile was as warm as ever. "You did well," he told her. "When first contact happened, you were just a young researcher. Now look at what you have helped build." Sujin looked at the stars through her window. "I did not do it alone. No human ever does anything alone. That is our secret. We carry each other." The door opened and a group of young people entered. They were new recruits for the space agency. Their eyes were bright with excitement and dreams. "These are the next generation," Sujin said to Woojin. "They will go further than we ever imagined, to the edge of the galaxy and beyond." One young woman stepped forward. Her name was Hana, and she reminded Sujin of herself 30 years ago. "We will make you proud," Hana said. "I know you will," Sujin replied. "Just remember where you came from. Remember that you are human. That means you must be brave, but also kind. Strong, but also gentle. Curious, but also careful. The galaxy is watching us. Let us show them the best of what we can be." In the years that followed, humanity became a great power in the galaxy. They brought new ideas and new technologies. They solved problems that had puzzled other races for millions of years. They made friends and enemies. They made mistakes and learned from them. But most importantly, they never stopped being human. They never lost their hope or their courage or their endless desire to see what lay beyond the next horizon. The first contact with Earth had indeed left the entire galaxy astonished. And in the end, that astonishment turned into something else. Something deeper. It turned into respect. And perhaps, just perhaps, into a little bit of hope for everyone. The end.